Against this right back, Charlie.
Hey man, we're back again, aren't we, people? People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Good morning to those of you in the UK. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night in some cases, people. I hope everyone's well and safe. With it being Tuesday, hope everybody's moved that much closer to their goals, hopes, dreams, and ambitions and aspirations for the week. Let's have a week to remember, folks. Now, obviously, you know, one love to everyone that's already taken in the DG podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. One love, like I said, to everyone. Please make sure you open up another tab and you go and do that. So yeah, I hope you're all well and safe, man. A man said 4 minutes late. Is that what you're on now? Lateness is greatness. But to be fair with you, I've got a video like, well, those of you that are on Twitch with me, we obviously did a video with Coach Gerald Lammy. Make sure you lot are following him and stuff. And we spoke about Arsenal. And obviously, I put the replays on YouTube. So, yeah, I was waiting for it to process, literally. So, it's content for you lot. I had a legit reason this time, my guy. I've been sat here since 22 past 11, you know. So, allow me. But as I said, I hope everyone's doing well and safe. You know, one love to everyone that's been taking in the streams. I know it can't be easy. Allegedly, Arteta's got 5 games to save his job. Apparently, you know, we're looking at Conte. Whether these things happen are neither here nor there. In fact, they are here. We're going to get into it shortly. But let me take in what you lot are saying just before we crack on. Obviously, there's 1-2 bits and pieces surrounding contracts and whatnot. Whether that means much, I don't know. But we'll look into it. In fact, I should probably slide this all the way over here just because that's what's going on with TORREIRA. You know, that's the next one. Sorry, folks. I'm just making sure everything's lined up. So, yeah, that one's there. Even talk about some Granit Xhaka business, people. Apparently, he's always wanted to stay. I know I did a live stream earlier, but some of you have missed out on the WILLIAN'S news and all of those sort of things, man. But let me take in what you lot are saying first things first, man. It's early doors. Let me allow you lot to filter in and whatnot. And I'm going again at 2 p.m. on Twitch, where we'll focus about Arsenal, and you lot can bring your Arsenal questions and Arsenal talking points, but we'll cover more of a neutral basis as well. And for those of you that love watching me play Football Manager, again, it's a tight week, but I'll be online on Twitch again, 4 p.m. So 11:30, 2 p.m., 4 p.m. You keep them times in mind, you have your DG content. And obviously check out the content that's, you know, previously happened and things, man. I don't see the board hiring Conte, to be honest. Neither do I, man, but to dare is to dream, innit? Or whatever them sorry Spurs twice used to say, it actually applies to this. But DG, that ain't even a question, my bro. In a heartbeat, Conte is an elite manager. Hey, man, anything for the engagement levels. I hear you, though. You know, I hear you. But you got to ask, man. Don't shoot the messenger. You've got to ask, man, and saying Arteta, it's time to go. I hope we could get Conte, but I just don't think the board would accept his demand. So I think we're all in agreement. I know I haven't said a word of my opinion, but, you know, Morgs, the rugby kid, kind of how I'm seeing it, you know, seeing is believing, anything's possible. But for me, I don't know where I stand. It's like, you know, for me, I'm a bit scared with Conte. It's nothing to do with Conte in particular. It's nothing to do with Conte. It's the fact of, do you lot want Conte because Conte is an elite manager, or do you lot want him because he's available, quote unquote? He's right there. Have you done your due diligence? Because he's not perfect, you know. Do you know how he's going to tie in with what you're trying to do with young players, take the club forward and whatnot? Now, I know he can do that. I know you lot know that. But do the club, or are they just seeing a name? You know, have they been, you know, keeping it up? You know, they clearly want a manager of tomorrow, someone that can grow and long-term and grow with the squad. With respect to Mikel Arteta, he's not the only one of that ilk in the world. And arguably, that's how football's going now. Like, for me, I very much think we're going to see Jack Wilshere manage sooner rather than later. You know, Cesc Fabregas. in general, it's not, you don't have to go and do 10 years in the lower leagues and do the hard graft. It's acceleration. So I'm not saying that's the right or wrong approach. I'm just saying Arteta is not going to be the only sort of new age coach. So if it doesn't work with Arteta, are you able to bring someone in with the same principles? In the same way Barcelona should always be bringing in a manager that's forward thinking. United should always have a coach that plays forward football. You sign for Real Madrid, you need to win something as a gaffer, you know, and this is what scares me. Because again, me and you lot and Faz, we could sit here and say, oh, there's not really much of a talent pool for gaffers. These lot need to know the household names. Conte, his name needs no introduction. You need to know, you lot need to know wherever the next manager could be. Because again, Graham Potter gets a lot of praise, but he was doing his hard graft at Ostersund's and things like that. Obviously, Arsene Wenger, I know he had the hard graft in Monaco and Europe and things like that, but he went to Japan and then came to Arsenal. So are we doing our due diligence in the same way when Aubameyang signed a new deal? Have you been looking for a striker? Are you looking? Was you looking? Leno told you about 2 years ago, I want to dip out. Are you looking for someone? You've got an over-reliance on Granit Xhaka. He signed a new deal. He's not going to be here forever. Are you looking for that long-term replacement in midfield where you should be looking anyways? So it's learning from hindsight and foresight what scares me. I'm not saying Conte isn't the best fit. I'm not saying he is the best fit. I'm just saying what scares me with the club is I don't think you're just looking at the fact of Conte's a winner, Conte statistically, what Conte can bring in terms of mentality and things. I just think you're just looking at it because it's a panic, it's a reactive. And obviously when you do something reactive, it scares me really and truly, people. So I don't really know where we are. For me, of course, I take Conte, proven winner. For me, if nothing more, he's going to get some of these duds thinking correctly. And if not, you're going to get rubbed out. Clearly, he's a better manager. And obviously, you need to pick your battles wisely. I don't think Arteta's done that. I get a sense of urgency and purpose with Conte. I do think whether it's a new manager or an experienced manager, they're going to be crippled by the regime. Saying that, there are, as I keep saying, aspects of how us underperforming that is just on Arteta, specifically the footballing, the lack of creation of chances, the lack of real clean sheets, the lack of really believing in our team collectively. That's all on Mikel. Of course, the technical director has to help him, but I do think we've gone into this. It's like Arteta is protected. There's too much extremes. You either criticize the guy, you either ridiculously praise him. Anything that said anything close to not blowing smoke up his bum is seen as negative, and that's not necessarily true. You get the vibe that Arteta is doing Arsenal a favor, and I want anyone who's the Arsenal manager to do well. But what is this propaganda? We're moving like Mikel Arteta is doing us a favor at Arsenal. Now, granted, he could have been at City, maybe not as manager, but it is what it is. I really don't understand it. I really don't. So yeah, it is what it is in that regards, people. If I share my screen, and I've been having some issues in this regard, so hopefully it's a smooth process. But if I share my screen, allegedly Antonio Conte's stance on replacing Mikel Arteta as Arsenal boss faces sack. As you lot can see here, people, the Telegraph, if you lot want to pay, we can subscribe to it, but boy, it's a bit of a madness. A lot of people are saying this, but apparently he has 5 games to turn his job around. So obviously, I don't think he's going to live or die on what happens tomorrow in the Carling Cup, but he needs to get a result. So let's just say what you've got: West Brom, you've got City, you've got Norwich. I'm sure you've got like Palace, Bournemouth, Spurs to come. These sort of games there. So it is what it is, and such is life. He might actually survive these 5 games, and then we go on a little run, and then it rears its head again. But this is the problem. It's very reactive. It doesn't seem like a plan. What is Mikel Arteta's mandate? The mandate should definitely be, if you've been here for 2 years or so, to know what your team is about. As I showed you lot yesterday, you go through that whole team. There's not a player that is in that first team squad because he doesn't want them to. When he first came in, that one can slide. It can't slide anymore. So as you lot can see here, Matt Laws allegedly said Mikel Arteta is under pressure to turn around Arsenal's dismal start to the new season in time for the second international break in October, or he faces a fight to save his job. And you look at the fixture list, bro. I don't know why Arsenal fans are doing this whole, there's this assumption that once we finish playing City, regardless of what happens, our season starts, we go to the promised land. I hear the logic, but that's acting like we're playing a bunch of non-league teams. There's some big games and everybody fancies Arsenal. Everyone's got things to do. Brighton want to have a better season than last year. Palace want to stay in the league. Norwich want to stay in the league. North London derby, it needs no introduction. There's no easy games. And, you look from now to the end of the year, there's not really a run where you can say, all right, cool, that's where we could do a little 5 games unbeaten. Bro, you're going to have to be up for it. It's literally cup finals every week, So there's issues, but let's see what Antonio Conte's stance allegedly is, people. Again, you know me, I hate the articles when they do their jargon. I don't know what my man's doing there. But let's scroll all the way down. Oh, this is tired. There's actually nothing here, really and truly, is there? Specifically. Let's find another article because I don't care about opinions, man. Let's refresh that page. Arsenal considering ex-Chelsea. Oh, gosh. Cookies and that. Arsenal considering ex-Chelsea boss Antonio Conte to replace Mikel Arteta amid dismal start to the season. Arsenal reportedly considering Antonio Conte as Mikel Arteta's replacement if the dismal start to the season continues, people. As you lot know, he was in talks with Spurs for their vacant post before negotiations broke down. So if Spurs can have a chance of signing him, we have to have a chance of signing him. For whatever reason, him and Spurs didn't come to an agreement. I don't know. Was it finances? Was it project? I don't know. But it is what it is. So allegedly we're looking at Conte, but there's nothing into it apart from Arsenal fans looking at the man and saying he's available and these lot latching onto it. What is there to really say? There's no legs to it. No contact's been indirectly made. Of course, they have to be eyeing up potential replacements. At the end of the day, someone needs to be held accountable. I don't think the pressure internally is as strong as the media is making out, and definitely as us fans want. You know, obviously it's a results-driven game and results can change, but I think he's going to survive at least City. I don't think it's not that it's relevant, but I think he'll get with it. I think he'll, end of September, October is when it really happens. Because when we sacked Emery, we didn't pull the plug as soon as it became bad. They really had to wait. You can tell there's internal battles, and there will be with Mikel Arteta. Certain people will say stand by him. Certain people would say clip him. And then until something really gives, there's an issue there. I don't really care for his mouthpieces, but as you look can see here, Arsenal are allegedly considering Antonio Conte as Mikel Arteta's replacement if results don't improve. And again, when we actually got Emery, there was a lot of names linked with the post. So I'm not going to just say, get excited about Conte, but this scares me. Again, have you been looking at Conte? Because realistically, we should have been hearing these rumors off the back of last year, not now. Why is it taking to this period? Again, this is assuming Conte wants to come. Let's just say for whatever reason he says, no, I'm holding out I'm seeing what's happening with Pochettino at PSG. My fellow countryman Carlo, he might lose his job a year from now. There might be some other situations going on. We're assuming Antonio Conte wants to sign for Arsenal. So if he says no, what is your plan? What is the plan? If you're gonna keep going down the young route, I don't think it's necessarily wrong, but I do want someone experienced. Who are you gonna bring in? If you can't get this experienced man, who are you gonna bring in? Now it's not down for the fans to say, oh, this guy's available, that guy, who's this, who's that. Just bringing someone that ties into the values and has clarity, in which Mikel Arteta clearly spoke a good game. It's like when you have a job interview and you're barefaced lying, yeah, I'm good at spreadsheets, I'm good at this, and then the first time you've done half of these things is when you're actually on your first day. Emery, I think he was hard done by, but ultimately was not cut up to task. And for me, what scares me is Conte, what fans we need to, Conte is better than Arteta. Conte would help us. Conte could do a lot if they meet him halfway. But what we can't do is like what we did with Maddison, and what we've done when we link with Odegaard on loan is we look at these guys to be messiahs. There's no man in this world or in history without fault. Clearly, there has to be some reason as to why he left Juventus, why he left Inter Milan, why he left Chelsea. Now, we all know 9 times out of 10, the comments, the common theme better yet is finances or bringing in players and whatever. This is a man that, rightly so, won't make it difficult for no reason. He'll make it difficult because he has a mandate to improve, and he wants to improve Arsenal, and he doesn't want anything attached to his name nonsense. When you hear Antonio Conte, it's just pure positive connotations. You don't think of negatives. You don't think of a joke. You don't think of soft. You don't think of bottling. You don't think of half the things that are currently we think of in this current team. He's going to have a sense of urgency because I can't have my name pulled through the mud for no one. And plus, I know what Arsenal used to be. I want to get it there. Are they going to meet him halfway? Do they know his strengths and weaknesses? Do they know potential things that might not work out? Because for me, young players, as much as I love Conte, I'm not saying don't to bring him in, but are young players going to get opportunities? I thought Arteta would have given a lot more. There's issues there. I was scared under Emery. You get the point. So we'll have to see what's going on in that regards, people. And I tried to do my own little research in relation to his signings. Again, you look at who he signed at Chelsea. Now, all of this, Chelsea's a bit funny. A couple of them are probably not the manager and whatnot. But, a big reason as to why he allegedly left is because they didn't really sufficiently build after winning the season. And obviously, one thing you would say with Conte, obviously he's an experienced manager. He's used to playing in multiple competitions, but he hasn't got the best track record in Europe, for example. You know, it was kind of disappointing in Inter Milan's campaign, European wise. So, you know, when you look at it, we're only playing once a season. I mean, once a week, typically. He could help us. But then obviously, if he does what we believe he can do and get some stability and get us in the top four and Europa League or whatever, when he gets there, is there a potential road bump here? Again, this isn't me criticizing Conte. This is me trying to find, has the club even done things like this? Truly looked into Conte. Don't just look at the fact that he's a proven winner. Look beneath the hood and pause. And that's something that scares me. Now, you look at his signings, you know, Chelsea's recruitment was quite poor, but there's also some good examples. Alonso's still there. He's not the best, but he's not the worst. He is always linked with a move. Rudiger's had a bit of a challenging Chelsea career, but on the balance, he's been a good signing. Kante needs no introduction. David Luiz was okay when he returned. Drinkwater, Batshuayi, Bakayoko, Morata, Joltman, to say it nicely. Emerson's still there, Joltman. Giroud did okay for them. Barkley, Joltman, you know, couple of backup keepers, and then there's Bergdoni's just returning from loan. He did give Christensen a chance at centre half, to be fair, speaking of young players, if I can remember correctly. Again, I'm not, bro, I don't know really I don't know what I'm going for half these guys, you know, again. And the thing with Conte, he might get a couple of duds like we did with Victor Moses. He might get some duds playing well. I was trying to do my research in relation to young players. Apparently, Conte defended his Chelsea record. Now, to be fair, they won the league and things. You can't have win leagues and challenging and a million young players, you know. He said, if you're good enough to play with a great team, you will play. That's fair enough. Saka, Smith Rowe, them and they have stepped up. You know, at the time, you can see him talking about a Amphidu there. Ain't really worked out for him at Chelsea since joining them from Exeter. Didn't really work out for Chalobah at the time. You know, Christensen had a lot of experience. You know, he had a lot of experience and whatnot. But he still got an opportunity. I think this is Conte's words. He said, don't forget that my first appearance in Serie A was when I was 16. I think I'm the first person to trust in young players to give possibilities to them if young players deserve this chance. So again, if you meet him halfway, you might get something there. I was just trying to look at the signings he's made at Inter and obviously think, because again, no man without faults. People have mismanaged. So if we move away from Chelsea and just look at him at Inter Milan, you know, he signed Lukaku, backed it up. Hakimi became a madman. Barella's Barella. Ericsson done all right for them. Lazara, it didn't really bang. Politano's okay. And really and truly, you'd have to ask some more informed fan. You know, Ashley Young did well there. You know, this is a young player I really like a lot. Lucien Agume, I can never say his name, but they bought him from Solskjaer. And he's apparently been linked with Brest in some capacity. So, and a couple of these are young dons as well, which he probably didn't sign. Like I've done a video on Calcido. We've spoken about the goalie before, you know, but he's typically lent on experience. He got Victor Moses on loan. He brought in Vidal. Kolarov came in from Roma. Ashley Young is there. Golding is there. Where again, Alexis is brought in. He done a lot of good. He won the league. But again, you could see how that can go south for Arsenal, you know. Again, when we might not be bringing in them, man, but there's a theme of us bringing in players that we've struggled to shift. So again, you've got to meet him halfway. And regardless, he's going to have to spend in it, really and truly. So I'm asking, is Conte the right man for me? Yes, but has the club taken in every factor? Juventus, we're going back a few years, and I'm not really informed, but these are the sort of guys allegedly he brought in there as well. This article is saying ranking his signings. We're not going to go on that because we've kind of just read it. But yeah, I think without a doubt, Conte would be amazing for this football club. I really hope the pressure continues on Arteta because it might make him buck up his ideas. But what scares me is, has the club fully considered Antonio Conte? Not what fans do and think proven winner, because he is. Look at all the pros and the cons, and look at that. You're gonna have to Batman. You know, because you know bringing in a new manager is a losing game. You know. Again, you probably have to say to him, listen, you're going to have to use Ramsdale and Ben White. But for argument's sake, what if he comes in and says, F that, I heard you spent 80 million dead that. I don't want them. Or I don't want to use Xhaka. You just giving him a new deal. I want this. I want to bring in these, man. I want to bring in I want to get rid of these lot. You know, I want these coaching stuff. You know, you have to do that and the financial outlay that comes with that and be prepared for it to be wrong. You might sign a player, it goes wrong, you know. Before Chelsea stumbled on Lukaku, we've seen them pissing about with, well, they've had Diego Costa as well, but we've seen them get it wrong many a time. Morata, you know, sadly, Shevchenko's a great footballer, but at Chelsea, he wasn't that. Torres, he wasn't that. Michy Batshuayi, furthest thing from that, you know. There's many of those things. I'm not saying, you know, this is right because their financial situation is different, but they spent 80 million on Kepa. bro, they saw he was a dud. Cool, you can be second choice. You can do the off the bench key penalty save hero thing, but we're gonna bring in Mendy. Now, I don't think Mendy is elite. I think he's competent. I think he's a good keeper. I think they'll probably upgrade on that. But again, if that's Arsenal, we're persisting with Kepa because we have no choice. And then, like I said, the situations are different, but you need that proactiveness. You need to consider everything. You need to, and also, Conte's going to be a headache for you lot. Conte's not going to be a headache if you do the right things. You know, for a year, it didn't look like Conte was a headache for Inter. Now he become a headache because you're tearing up half the team. You know, just like when you go back to his Chelsea days, you know, Diego Costa was doing his nonsense. Costa went, they didn't bring in proper guys. And what I like about Conte, you know, boy, a lot of praise goes to other gaffers. And I know Kante isn't expansive. Who was the first man who said, yo, listen, Kante, I like what you're doing, winning the ball back, but that was all a Leicester thing. You need to offer a bit more on the ball now. He started that. You know, you can't give him, football is just cycles. There's been 3 at the back. You know, I'm 26, turning 27 next year. 3 at the back way before I was alive. And I'm sure those of you that are old enough to remember, and they'll be, you know, long before after we're all dead, there'll be 3 at the back. So, you know, but he was the first man that really brought it in and got it going again. So, and again, I look at Chelsea's 3 at the back under Thomas Tuchel, even a 4, and I look at what we do with Arteta, it's dead. You know, will Conte be crippled with some of these players? Yes. A big thing I'd like about Conte is them or me. I don't know what it is, you know, maybe these guys bring out Arteta sweets every day. Maybe Willian gives him money off, but it just feels like you're not making the right decisions for yourself and the football club, because every player you put out on a match day, that's telling me you believe in them. Like Marie, you believe in Marie. You think if any injuries happen, everyone can step up. I don't get the sense it's you or me. Conte, obviously, he's going to give everybody a chance and whatnot, but I'm going to get a sense of urgency because he understands this is a results business. Same way all the managers get praised, I could be out of it. And, you know, I do think experience in many aspects of life is overrated, but it cannot be overstated. I don't think experience is a reason for all of Arteta's miscomings. I think it's just downright learning from your mistakes. You don't need to have managed 300 games to know maybe I shouldn't expose Marie in the 4 at the back against Lukaku because I did something similar against Chelsea in pre-season and we was cut open, or it happened against Spurs and we was cut open. It's just, that is naivety for me. I don't get that with Conte. And obviously, when you think of Italians, you think of serious business. So there's every reason under the sun for Antonio Conte to sign for Arsenal, for us to do it. But when you look beneath the hood, I don't think we're going to do it because fundamentally, Mikel Arteta is probably the easiest time they've had as board owners. It's not been happy for us. It's not been happy maybe for Arteta, but, you know, and I'm sure Arteta puts his foot down because he turned down the job. But do you honestly see Arteta saying, I want a left back? I mean, I want a centre mid. Centre half. You brought in Marie. Do you see him saying, no, I don't want that. That's not good enough. It's, you know, all right, cool. You know, half of these players, whether he wanted, if Arteta wanted half of these players, there's an issue, but there's no way, you know, well, to be fair, he did get Moses. So if he did get Cedric and these sort of players, they probably play amazing. But I don't think he's looking at these guys to help him. They can't help him. They can't help themselves. They're not with this. You know, as much as I love Torreira's not with this. He's a good player mentally. He's not with playing for a top club. That's why it didn't work here at Arsenal. That's why it didn't work at Atletico. That's why you was doing your thing at Sampdoria with respect to them. And you'll probably look like a world beater again at Fiorentina. And hopefully, with the years with staying there a couple of years, you can put respect on your name. He will be an absolute, and listen, Conte is not going to be difficult for the sake of being difficult. It's being difficult under the remit of, you listen, I'm a serious manager. I can't be attached to things that are not serious. This is meant to be a serious club. What are we doing? We haven't got time to waste. If we're doing foolishness, there's no point. There's too much money on the line. There's too much reputation on the line. Time is short. We all have to spend the currency of time. We cannot save it. I ain't got time for nonsense because now it's a stain etched on my CV. So we'll have to see in relation to Operation Conte, people, but it is where that one is. We'll get into the rest of them. What else are you lot saying? One love for the super chat I'm seeing. Let me scroll all the way back because yeah, man. Don't want to do dirty. Karma Kens, what a name. Appreciate you. As a neutral DG, I don't think Conte will risk his managerial record by taking the Arsenal job unless he's desperate to get back into management. I ran off bad games and fans will want him gone. I mean, as is life, bro. You know, if you're not doing the job, fans can want you gone. I'm sure Chelsea fans did as well. But I agree with what you're saying in that, you know, you're kind of left to the wolves. There's no reason for you to put your reputation on the line because Arsenal aren't going to make anything work, man. To be fair to Chelsea, they still get money for their rejects via loan fees and reselling. They do this thing. You know, they're giving Mitri Batshuayi a new deal. They're making things happen. You know, again, because Marina, everyone below Roman Abramovich, they have to be serious. If you're a loan manager, you got to be the best loan manager there is. If you're the gaffer, you got to be the best gaffer there is. You got to be the best physio. You got to be the best kit man. You got to be the best. Or you've got to do your job to the best of your ability where no one can say you're not. Or people are gone. You know, it's a serious problem. Check the rest of them. Like, everyone's got to be serious or it's a myth. I prefer someone who will bring that Arsenal DNA back, Luis Enrique. To be fair, long before Wenger, there was a different sort of DNA where we had grit, determination, and a bit of stillness about us. And that could be Antonio Conte. You know, 1-0 to the Arsenal doesn't come out of nowhere. But I hear you, though. You know, I just feel worse comes to worse. Conte can kind of what I wanted Emre to do. So maybe it will fall short because of the dynamics at play. But at least get rid of some of these duds, get certain good habits, eradicate certain bad habits, install certain good habits. And then maybe you could try this thing again where when the squad is a bit more sensible and a bit more competent and healthy is the right word, you know, then you can maybe try someone a bit more expansive on the Arteta thing, the innovative thing, provided those above him also are serious. You know, I don't look at Edu and think you want to be the best technical director. I don't look at Arteta and think you want to be the best manager. I don't look at Kroenke and say you want to be the best owner. I don't look at anybody within these roles. I barely look at centre halves at this club and think you want to be the best centre half in this squad, let alone the league. You know, because if you would not let Lukaku score them easy goals. You'd at least go bundle it into the goal with him. You don't want clean sheets. You don't want excellence. You would like it. It's not a God. You know, things are not a God-given right. You need to get out there and take things in life in a healthy way and apply yourself every day. And no one wants to do that here. This is why we're only going to get these occasional, what I always say, as battles. You might beat a Chelsea, which we didn't last season. You might beat a Chelsea, beat a Spurs, beat United, and do your little bragging rights and show your supporting your friends who support them clubs. But in relation to the war, when it comes to me and 38 games and they're doing this and they're doing like, you know, it's Conference League, but Spurs still got that. You can say whatever you want about United, they got Champions League. You can say we beat Chelsea, took 4 points, we did this. That man won, they got Champions League and won it. Where we'd all rather swap places. Come on now, we'd all swap places. Would I take dropping 4 points to United to trade and get second? Yeah. The only thing I probably wouldn't do is swap it with Spurs because of the Conference League and a bit of bravado. But again, you get where I'm going with these things, people. It's a bit of a mad thing. Please make sure we're hitting those like buttons, people. One love to everybody tuned in and we're subscribing on Twitch. I go again at 2 p.m. See, I don't even know, people, but one love regardless. So yeah, Jurgi Low, you know, it's very difficult. It's not really the same to translate club and international management, but it's something to look at. Man said Agent Willian Arteta in. Well, Arteta don't even want you anymore, Reed Boy. So you still want him on? Still want him in? Exactly. His Euro record isn't good, not a deal breaker, but be careful about what we're asking for regarding Conte. There's a saying, when you pray for rain, you have to deal with the mud too. That's it. And I think that's what Arsenal fans do. We let our desperation, listen, Conte can come, nothing to do with him, disclaimer. But we let our desperation cloud a lot of things. We let our desperation to the point where you mainly see it with players. You start overrating players and gassing up players and painting this picture of where they are. And then the fans have to cheat to say, man, are overrated and all of this and that and the rest of it. If Conte is really available and is open to come in, make the move immediately. No question is needed. Facts, really. Arsenal have been spending recently. It's just about spending right. Top managers attract top players. We've invested recently in youth, which might be tempting. Sam, exactly. To be fair to you, we still have got some half-decent players regardless of Arteta, but you're right. You're right. And you might as well, while we've still got this, while we're still able to lie to some players and still hold on the, you know, the Thierry Henry, the Invincibles, while we're still able to lie, bro, you give it another 5-10 years, man, I'm not going to remember none of this. We still get a couple of that juice, people in their 20s to mid-20s to late 20s, they still remember this, you know, man, it kills me to say it, but, you know, it doesn't matter what supporter you are, if you're like, what, I don't want to say early 20s, but like from, I'd say 22 to maybe touching 40 now. It don't matter if you're an Arsenal fan or whatever. You love Ian Wright. Soon, man, are going to say, who is Ian Wright? Who's Thierry Henry? We're getting there. We're getting to that territory. You know, man, are not going to be Arsenal fans unless stuff happens like a lot of you are going to do with your unborn children like me. My unborn kid in the future has no chance but to support Arsenal because that's all you're going to have. If people are given a choice, man, I'm not looking at Arsenal if this thing continues, you know. it's got to the point people say, why? Oh, what's that? You know, respect to Derby, but there was one you in my school, Alex Daly, first brother I ever known in my whole life that's ever supported a team. This is the good thing about life, but throughout my whole life up until a point, this was going into year 7, I only knew people that support. I think the maddest thing I ever knew a man supported was Liverpool. You know, that's because it was just Arsenal, United. In fact, the maddest thing was Spurs. I couldn't understand it. Them and they used to finish second half of the table and that and whatnot. But you know, it was Spurs, Liverpool, Arsenal, United. You might get a random, I remember there was a West Ham fan in primary. You get ones like that, but then there was a Derby fan. I'm like, why? Like, why are you a Derby fan? With respect to Derby, because again, there's nothing wrong with it, but putting myself in the mind at the time, I said, why? That's what people are saying about Arsenal now. Why do you support this club? Why? It's too far for a lot of us to turn back, but certain people in younger generations are not going to be foolish enough to make the same mistake if things continue, because let's be right. We have pushed the boat out. Some of these, we have been consistent. We've been consistently failing. Like you saw, that was the last Premier League game, worst start in 118 years. Last season, our home form, and I'm sure there's a bag of statistics. And for these players, for me, you should all feel like a disgrace because your names are permanently etched to that. In 10, 20 years from now, when it's Premier League, what's the thing that's on Sky Sports where they go over? I think it's Premier League years or something. You're going to be there getting rubbed out. Marie, you're going to be there getting moved to by Lukaku. Lukaku's going to be showing his, that's getting passed down in Lukaku's generations, People are going to, if he's got a child, he's going to think daddy is Superman, terrorized you. And if you got kids, boy, they're going to think daddy is soft, man. He can shout at me and give me all these verbal, but when he needs to play football, bro, he's looking soft. It's a bit like Koscielny when his kids are asking, why are Arsenal so bad? Like, when little kids are asking that, little naive questions like that, you're in sticky predicaments. With the kind of football Conte plays, make it make sense. Broski, Richard, I think the football isn't that bad. And is it any worse than what we're seeing right now? Boy. Yeah, man, chat shit. To be fair, I think he was rattling Arsenal fans, and I just got vexed one time. That's why, but he's gonna have to stay there, man. One love to all the comments, man. In relation to Conte, he likes good experience mixed with youth within the right mentality. Fair play. Conte is an improvement over Arteta, mate. Get us back there, but then we're after him. He can't be a season as a long-term choice, which we need more stability, the better right now. To be fair, Conte could give you about 2-3 seasons, and a lot of these young players, they're not exactly, they're growing into maturity. The Smith Rowes, the Sakas, etc. If we're honest with ourselves, Maitland-Niles, Reece Nelson, these sort of guys, they're not really going to be here. Now, if there's a next young bad boy in the academy, Amari Hutchinson's doing his thing, Tyrese John Jules is there, Balogun's there, a couple other man, Brooke Norton, Coffee at right back, give him a couple years, he might say something, fair play. But a lot of these guys, they're young, but they're not, it's not a young bucks thing anymore. It's not, apart from Balogun, a couple man are not young like that. Like, some of you have decent foundations, or some of you have been on the scheme for a while now to kind of get what we're doing with, it's not a naive thing. Balogun's the only one that should really, really, really look naive. Obviously, the young players, they're going to look a little more naive than the experienced ones. But Balogun's the only one I should see that should look like a duck out of water, because the man's going off 2 Premier League appearances, and however many much in the Europa League, and all his appearances, did they even add up to 90 minutes? And let's consider the fact the man ain't even played as a professional footballer, 1 90-minute game, let alone 10. So I don't know why fans, give him a chance to develop. I don't know why fans were bigging him up to, not that you shouldn't big him up, but saying ridiculous things without giving him, the scope to develop. But that's what football fans do, innit? They know really little and they talk a lot of nonsense. So it is what it is. Sorry, people, because it wouldn't make sense. Operation Conte. I don't know why I like the name Operation Conte. I was gonna make that the title. It feels like a movie or something, man. Chelsea's 3 at the back is so fluid because their mandate's to go forward. Our mandate is cowardly and they don't trust themselves. So it doesn't matter if we're playing a 3 or 4 or 5. 10 at the back, man, are always gonna look shaky, broski. And for me, you look at how we was doing it. Yeah, even against Chelsea, boy, 1 minute it's looking like a 4, then it's looking like a 3, then it's looking like a 4, then it's looking like a 3. You don't really know what you're doing. I wouldn't want Conte to replace Arteta. That's a shame. Fair play, though. Let me know your reasons if you don't want Conte, though. It makes for an interesting conversation, man. If we manage to get Conte, we can get top 6 minimum, bro. If the mentality changes, you can't look at him as the Messiah. I know he's a better manager than Emery, but he's not dissimilar from Emery. And I know it's a different period, but one man can't change things. You know, Conte can have all the ideas in the world. Some of these players know they can outlast a manager. You know, some of these men have been rewarded with failure for years. You know, there's some bad habits. So if the mentality can't change, and it's not on the gaffer, it has to change from the top. Chelsea's mentality, City's mentality, historically, Juventus, Barcelona, their mentality is to be serious about having accountability. We don't have that. Even at Juventus, you know, yeah, they're typical winning stuff. But if you've watched their documentary, even down to how I'm quite ignorant, but there's a friendly they play in pre-season against a local team somewhere. Obviously, they're in Serie A, wherever this team are. Do you know how seriously they take it? Not in terms of the lineup, but how they carry themselves, how they talk to the fans, these sort of things. How you carry yourself in all aspects. But these men don't even sleep like champions. And really, I don't even know how they sleep. I'm exaggerating a bit, but like you've got to behave in a certain sort of way. And I think the problems are not just a gaffer, whether that's Conte, whether Pep Guardiola came in. There's a lot of things that a manager can't change. And I think at best they're going to be crippled, because as you look at Arteta, you can criticize him about a lot, but you're still questioning those above him. Emery was a bit of a madman, but I don't think he was supported properly. You know, he failed on his own accord. He needed to go, but I don't think, you know, he was given everything. You know, Arteta leaves tomorrow. We look at Arteta and Emery. Can we say we can say they needed to go? And I'm not saying this to protect them. Were they honestly backed, or can we say the people above them gave them everything to succeed? The obvious answer is no. In Arteta's case, they haven't surrounded an inexperienced manager with everything he needs. For Emery, he was asking for things and he weren't being given. You didn't pull him in from his madness as well. So, boy, it is what it is in that regards, folks. It really is what it is, man. Conte likes a challenge. Anyone with a brain knows Conte is proven elsewhere, so not much risk for him. There's always a risk in football, Sam. Fans have seen his process, so much more likely to give him time. Exactly. The last sentence, Sam, you know, if we could see what Arteta is doing, you know, you could see some building blocks, then you could say, all right, cool, we're getting battered and whatnot, but there's some sort of light. When you're seeing bewildering tactics, bewildering players, bewildering decisions over who stays and who goes, not really much clarity from the club. You're told these think pieces from everybody, and the words don't match up or correlate to what we see on the weekend or how we behave across all aspects. This builds up frustration, at least with Conte. And again, anyone who's outspoken, because Emery kind of did it, Arteta used to do it. They will say these things. Emery used to say, I would like this, but I can't get this. Or Arteta used to say indirect little things like, the board ain't really doing much for me. I need this and that. Now it's the same old PR business. DG, would you take Enrique as a manager? He did all right with Barca and got Spain to the semi-finals. But I'll take half of these innovative gaffers. But again, he turned down the Arsenal role. Probably not my first choice. I don't think I have a first choice. My first choice would actually be somebody unknown if we can find it. But yeah, man. Very interesting, man. Said Arteta has good hair. Well, take Marie with you and go be a model then, innit? Oof, that's a harsh one. How can you have a manager that gets worse with tactics over time? At the beginning, Arteta actually had some sort of plan. I agree, but then I find myself, did he have a plan? Like, I think he had a plan, but then I find myself, was it a plan? Was it the new manager bounce? Like, everybody's fighting for spots. Everyone was so happy Emery's gone. You know, there's a sort of something to be positive about. People are fighting for spots. You know, is it because there's an element of unknown? There was a lot of propaganda. Man didn't really know what Arteta was going to do tactically. Now they kind of found him out, sort of thing. You know, there's got to be something. I think he's behaving terrible, but I don't think he's a terrible gaffer. Like, you're doing terrible things for Arsenal, but for me, it's the lack of clarity. I thought the FA Cup was going to be a building block, but it's like from that to now what we're seeing, something changed that season. I think he thinks too much about the opposition. He fails to understand, I have 11 players. We need to try a thing. And I can't understand it because, you know, it was one of Wenger's downfalls. But you played under Wenger. You know that despite the fact that there might be a million reasons you might lose, he had faith that one reason that I believe in you, man, we can go out there and do that. And I think we should do a bit of that. You can't sign Conte because all the players Arsenal have just don't fit the Conte style. Disagree, but fair play. What's Arteta actually good at, boy? Well, I mean, he's won a trophy, so he can't not be, you know, you can't be disrespectful to him. But boy, I can't tell you, because when I think of Mikel Arteta, I can't tell you a single aspect. When I think of Conte, I think of winning and defensive stability. When I think of Klopp, I think of intensity. When I think of Pep, I think of all of these things. You know, I don't know what comes to mind with Mikel. You know, reactive, negative, inconsistent, a lack of clarity, lack of direction. I'm not trying to do a man dirty, but we're live in it. I'm trying to think of when the name Arteta, a word association game. These are the words that are flying into my mind, bro. Hot take: Arteta won the FA Cup by accident. Let's be fair, he didn't win it by accident. Like, maybe it was a new manager bounce. Maybe that, you know, Arsenal's magic in the FA Cup. Maybe that galvanization helped us. But let's be fair, it never happened on accident. Like, it weren't an accident, in it. Like, he ain't doing the job, but you don't win trophies by accident, innit? And there's, you know, you make your own luck. To be fair to them, in them isolated incidences to the final, they, you know, they believed in themselves. They had a game plan, and it worked. For players stood up to be counted. For whatever reason, it worked. Now that stuff has to be consistent. You know, they didn't take it and think, oh, you know, we had a terrible season. It's still terrible. What, we won an FA Cup. Imagine what it feels like to win an FA Cup again, or a bigger trophy, or just achieve goals like top four, or shut the pundits up. Them man, they weren't on it, and I think there was an arrogance among everyone at this club to assume within that period that Arteta fixed a lot, specifically the mentality. Myth. Arteta, you know, Aubameyang might have won it, but how many blocks and defending were there? If we go throughout the whole game, you know, no single player or no single manager won this. Let's cut the crap, people. You know, you don't win. Anyone that's really played football, you don't. Come on now, it's foolishness what some of you are talking. Come on now, let's be serious. You can criticize the manager and these players. Nobody wins any trophy in football by accident. You can have your opinions, but let's have a bit of common sense. Let's have some common sense. No single player, no single facet won this alone. There's 11 players. There's a 25-man squad. Let's be serious. Stop spamming, man. Come on now, man. I beg you, go watch Kelly Devine or something, man, because we're trying to have a serious debate now, man. We ain't got time for that. Use your mother's internet properly, man. Bro, Modric stood out, Messi stood out, but it's a team game. Bro, it's not tennis, you know. You can try to catch me out, and I'm not saying players didn't do more and players didn't make the difference, but you don't do that alone. You do not do that alone. We didn't win the Invincibles just because of Henri and Vieira and them things there. It's a collective effort, you know, because I'm sure if you go through that game, there must have been even where defenders probably saved something off the line. Big players stand up to be counted, like Pogba for France. He never done it alone. If this is what you lot think, fair play, but I think you lot don't understand the game of football really and truly then, man. Kind of nonsense, man. Or some of you might not be old enough to truly understand what the hell you're talking about without trying to be condescending. But come on now, man. Come on now, folks. There's not one single trophy that's ever been won that's been won single-handedly. Even if somebody's made the difference in the final, how the fuck do you get to the final? Come on now. You lot are better than this, man. Don't let your hate for Arteta make you say foolishness, man. Don't let your hate for Arsenal and some of these players make you say foolishness. Keep your heads. You lot ask for Arsenal to keep cool heads. You ask for Arsenal to display consistency. Demand that of yourselves, folks. Demand that of yourselves. A lot of you are smarter than you're making out right now. But yeah, man. The owners haven't got the right mentality to bring in Conte. Exactly, because Conte, bro, if you're not... Conte will leave a million calls on your phone, regardless of where in this world you are. I don't think our main problem is up top. I actually think least of our problems is up top, really and truly. If with better coaching, I think you addressed that midfield. You addressed what's going on with playing out from the back. We can do what we can, man. "13 players signed, 8 contracts extended," and he tried to give Mustafi a new deal. So there's no excuses for Arteta. You can't sit here and say it's not his team, this and that and the third. 100%. I should clip up a part from the last live stream. In fact, I probably will, where we spoke about that, man. In my opinion, Conte only won Serie A because Juventus hired Pirlo. He doesn't win if Allegri's there. Well, ifs and buts, he's not there in it. He done it, and fair play. There might be debate to that, but he, you know, they're variables out of Conte's hands. All Conte can control is his playing squad, and they did what they needed to do. PG is the fact. Is the fans to blame because Arteta switched to a 3-4-3 and a 4-3-3 and then a 4-3-2-1 because everyone wanted positive and better football? I mean, pardon me, fans can't be blamed. Like, we're not picking the managerial decisions. And to be fair with you, Arteta has shown that fans can't sway him. He has not gone with an out-and-out striker or someone that's played in a false nine in the European semi-final. He has played Willian when there's damn right no right not to play him. He has kept Pepe out when there's been no right. He has frozen out creative players when we've needed it. So I don't think he's going to buckle necessarily to fans' pressure. He has switched for his own accord and needs to hold his own accord. Of course, we want an exciting, positive and better football. We're Arsenal Football Club, and just damn right, we're a football team in the Prem. We're probably one of the only Premier League teams that doesn't try and be on the front foot. Ergo, we don't look like we're trying to win a game of football. So I don't think fans can be blamed for that anyways. You know, it's Arteta's coaching or lack of. But that will make a good timestamp though. Are the fans to blame for Arteta's inconsistencies? Personally, I don't think so, but situation. It may require a new manager, no problem with that. But let's see what it looks like once this year's true starting 11 is on the pitch for a few games before we drop off Mikel Arteta at his next stop. He's not going to get sacked. He's not going to get sacked anytime soon. I might have said Arteta was decent when we was actually allowed drink breaks. Wow. I kind of get what people are saying with the systems with the players we have not fitting into Conte's system. Of course we do, but at the same time, managers are there to be flexible. You know, you adapt to the team you've got, or you find the 1-2 players that can't. And to be fair with you, do we really feel that we talk about Smith Rowe and Odegaard potentially being able to play eights? We talk about a couple of other functional roles. Of course, some players won't be able to, but I do think there's more players that are able to do what fans are not saying than players who can't, if that makes sense, man. Man said, trust me, man are saying Aubameyang won the cup, but Maitland-Niles got man of the match. And then you had Martinez as well. You also had other people standing up to be counted. Rob Holding as well. Like, it's not making sense, bro. Don't let your hate for players make you say nonsense. We should always seek the truth in life, even if we don't like it, man. How many guys have been number 2 to manager? Probably not too many that I can speak of. You know, everybody's had to do their hard graft. Jose was being an assistant. You know, even Gerrard was doing up academy. You know, I can't lie. I think only Arteta and Frank Lampard have had the easiest sort of shoeing into football off the top of my head. Because what did Lampard do to get the Derby job, let alone the Chelsea job? We know he's one of them guys you describe as Mr. Chelsea. What did Arteta do? He's not even Mr. Arsenal. I can't believe some of the propaganda pieces with Mikel Arteta. You know, as much as I cut the manager some sympathies where I see fit, you know, sometimes people make out like my man is doing us a favor being at this football club. Not making sense, man. I think we have to be patient at least until November. Boy. I don't think Arteta is conning Lacazette. I think all of these attacking players are struggling, but Lacazette is showing his level for his own accord. You know, Lacazette's played under 3 different gaffers. He's still not bagged 20 league goals. There's a lot of strengths with Lacazette, but you know, man have to answer their own sort of stuff, man. EG, are you looking forward for the West Brom game since Odegaard might play? You know, we should really look on Arsenal.com and see the what they've said over thingies as well. But I mean, I can't be excited, can I, about anything to do with Arsenal? Really, I wouldn't say excited, man. I mean, it's not going to be an official statement, and it's neither my personal view. It's just what we're seeing online. A lot of these journalists are saying that poll is damning. Don't even know the results. Don't even check it. I thought, let me just have that for you, lot, really and truly. Some interesting comments, man. Some very interesting comments. Keep your opinions on whatnot coming. I don't think anyone wants to write off another season. At the minimum, you need to have a system in place. Man said, shut up. Hey, man. Only you would come on a live stream and tell people to shut up, man. Come on now. Fix up with them capital letters, man. May God bless you. I'm not even going to send for you, man. You know you're a donut, so I'm going to leave you. But yeah, man, please, like I said, you know, rather than, you know, telling man to shut up, go and watch Kelly Divine, Pinky, and them things there. They'll look after you better than I can, man. And I know you know damn well what your hand is. You know, come on now. Arteta makes us dilly-dally in the final third. We always try to pass the ball into the back of the net. I'd agree, but I'd change it. It's like we don't even try to walk the ball into the back of the net because you already know you already have you already need you know to walk the ball in the back of the net. You have to know where the net is. I don't get the vibe that we know where the net is because we get round there, it's passing to in and backwards. You know, it's not like we're looking for bare passes in the box like we used to do under Wenger. You got, you know, they like I said in another live stream, you know, that saying, you know, you've got to buy a raffle ticket to win the lottery. We're not even at that stage. We don't even know whether we should buy the raffle ticket or not. We're still debating should we go to the shops. It's not making sense, really and truly. And it's concerning, man. It is, but the life we live in it's the life we live as Arsenal fans. People, hit the like button if you haven't already. What else? We've got quite a few things to look at, people. We've been doing a lot of talking. So let's start with some transfer. Let's look at some transfer business as well, man. Sorry, folks. Let's go transfers. Willian, let's go Trippier, TORREIRA. Yeah, let's just nip this all into one, bud, folks. So let's start off with Kieran Trippier. Wait, I think I've got the same thing up twice. Sorry, folks. Admin duties and all them things there. So let's kick off with that, man. Apparently, Arsenal reignite Kieran Trippier transfer interest after horror start to the season, but demand Atletico cut 34 million valuation. That's why United stepped away. I mean, 34 million on a 30-year-old is probably going to want a 4-year deal or should be looking to get a 4-year deal. We should be giving him a free. It's not going to make sense, really. You know, I like Trippier. We haven't got anything at right back. Can there be something with a bit more of longevity? At them fees there, you might as well remove it. Obviously, what we've previously heard is they're on swapping Bellerin, we're on swapping Trippier. If you can run something like that, why not? But I don't think this is a story, man. Apparently, Atletico are desperately trying to offload players as they count the cost of COVID, apparently, but they're not in the mood to do Arsenal any favours after falling out over Thomas Partey. Well, if they need to make money, my man's got a year left on his deal. They're cutting off their nose to spite their face because he could agree and move to United or to Arsenal in January. So I think the scum paper isn't really making much sense. As you lot know, Cedric Suarez never took his chance against Chelsea. Chambers never took his chance against Brentford. Maitland-Niles didn't take his chance last year. You know, Bellerin hasn't been taking his chance for time despite the hairstyles changing. You know, there's bare players there, quality. There's quantity, but there's not quality. It's a bit of a myth. So this Trippier one is just going. And again, we probably have to sell some players. So I can't really see it happening. Apparently, Arsenal are hopeful of a right back. I hope we bring in a right back, but seeing is believing, really and truly, people. In relation to Lucas Torreira, you know, AFC Bell has said his older brother has told AFC Bell that the player agreed with Florentino on personal terms. Arsenal and Fiorentina have agreed in principle on a 1-year deal, and the two clubs are still talking about what the clause will be included and whether it be an option to buy or an absolutely buyout. Commit them to buying him, man. Why are we sending man out on loan? You're going to have to sell him for less next year. You know, again, next year, if Torreira doesn't go with an obligation, you've got him coming back. You've got to deal with Saliba's contract. You're going to have to buy a keeper again of some stature. You know, you have to. If Ramsdale shows he's number 2, then fair play. You know, if Ramsdale shows he's all right, so he's got 2 years left. Well, either way, they're going to have to make a decision on him. We're going to have to sign a keeper. If Ramsdale steps up, that's cool. You need a number 2. If he looks shaky and he's still looking like a 2, you're going to need a 1. You know, I'd imagine if we don't get a right back this summer or in January, you're going to look at that next year. You're probably going to need a striker a year from now. And who knows what other things might dibble and double, you know? Are we actually even sorted at centre half, people? It's a bit of a crazy one in that regards. So yeah, man, you know, apparently Fabrizio Romano has said Lucas Torreira will be in Italy today, and I think I can actually, if I remember correctly, I was on his Instagram, people, and I can't bring it up on the screen, but if you lot can see there, can you lot see? Hopefully. Well, if you can't see, that's Torreira. I screenshotted it. That's Torreira on a plane heading to Italy. So it's being done in it. Arsenal are going to receive a 1.5 million loan fee. You know, the rumours of El Nene to Watford clearly false. Talks are still going for Kolasinac to Fenerbahce, folks. And then obviously a next one confirming Torreira is flying to Italy from England. There'll be a 50 million release clause. 50 million clause, sorry. Willian allegedly is getting closer to Corinthians. We're going to circle back on Willian, don't you worry, folks. So yeah, that's that in relation to Torreira. That's Xhaka for what it's worth. That's that. Where else are we going to? I feel like I'm missing something else. Yeah, so yeah, as I said, we're speaking about Willian. We spoke about this in a live stream late last night, but as you already know, Arsenal midfielder Willian is in talks with Corinthians over a free transfer. I mean, another expensive free signing. How Arsenal have a fetish of signing people for free and making it expensive. Kolasinac, Willian, Mkhitaryan. Don't want to learn, you got to feel. Who don't learn must feel, you know. Anyways, people, yeah, apparently he's joining. Remember, he said he was joining because we're doing something in the Champions League in 3 years, and he's the first person to skate. So how much did he believe in the project? Things can change, but the first bit of toughness, he wants to skate out. It's a bit like Xhaka, you know. Xhaka, I'm not questioning your commitment, but you can talk about how you always wanted to stay, this, that, and the other. The first moment that Jose Mourinho set eyes on you, you started flirting. You know, you started flirting and moving like a girl who wants to attract an interest in a male that she likes. You know, you were just flirting after every Euro game. Bit crazy to me. Don't really know who believes in this project. Leno the same. I don't know who believes in this thing at Arsenal. Whether they deserve to even have that luxury or not. We all know he joined on a free. He's been shit. Both Arsenal and Willian are prepared to part ways despite the winger having 2 years to run on his contract. Corinthians are in talks over a deal for the 33-year-old. You know, that would be good. You're back in your homeland. You know, Brazil, actually one of them nations that call up a lot of players playing in their homeland. You know, finances, I don't know what the finances will be saying, but you can do your thing. Apparently, Arsenal would be willing to let Willian go for free, as it means they can get his wages, which are north of 100K a week. I don't know where I got 120 from, off their books. Talks with Corinthians are at an advanced stage, and there's optimism the deal will be done before the window shuts on the 31st of August. Apparently, he's keen to return. He's keen to leave Arsenal and stay in Europe, but it's understood to be open to returning to Brazil. So again, there might be another twists and turns and dibbles and dabbles where, you know, Willian is concerned, folks. But boy, it is what it is. I don't think there's actually anything else in relation to transfers, folks. Like there's, you know, we've already spoken on that. So I think that's that in relation to Trippier and them guys, folks. Yeah, man, that was Willian. Obviously, Granit Xhaka's had something to say, or Granit Xhaka's agent has been speaking, and yeah, I thought we ended the comments yesterday, but clearly we didn't. So let's circle back on them as well. Well, that's Conte. That's Edu. We can look at that in a second. Almost forgot what I was doing. That's that. We can clip that. As you lot can see here, Granit Xhaka's agent has denied that the player ever wanted to leave Arsenal despite almost joining Roma. So you agreed personal terms. You asked your Swiss teammates who played in Italy what the driving is like in Italy. You flirted in the media. I mean, maybe maybe the club wanted to sell you and you had no choice but to agree things and leave. But boy, I think you're insulting our intelligence. Fair play. You're gonna, you know, you've only got loyalty to your agent. To your client. You're gonna say all of this sort of stuff. But let's go on, people. Apparently, you know, he's denied that the player ever wanted to leave despite almost joining Roma. Apparently, though these quotes are completely false. The player has no connection. The person, who made these comments has no connection to the management of Xhaka and is not an agent of Granit. It is true that we were speaking with Roma this summer, but Granit has repeatedly said he is happy at Arsenal. And the truth is that he always wanted to stay at the club. Yeah, January 2020, he tried to go over Berlin. He's always been open to a move. And at the age he's at, you have to be open to anything because, you know, you're not going to get too many big offers, too many big contracts. And I'm not saying you're wrong. Italy's a lovely country. Roma's a big club. Jose Mourinho's a fantastic gaffer. I can't just, you know, I'm not begrudging you for that. But I mean, stop taking us for idiots. And I mean, this club just bets on this guy. It's like we tell shit guys they're the best thing since sliced bread, like with Arteta, like with Xhaka, like with a couple of meaty guys. So that, and then they, you know, you have comments like, you know, Arteta will come out and say people are trying to see Arsenal fail. You know, I like that you're trying to have a siege mentality, but stop equating people who are not blowing smoke up this team's asses, with wanting us to fail. We can only talk on what we see. How can you sound like a hippie or you're smoking something really strong if you're finding positives based on that Chelsea game or how we've been moving, you know? And any sort of criticism, Xhaka is, and I defend Xhaka a lot because not on the ability, but I think a lot of people scapegoating. But it's like we feel like everybody's trying to get us, you know. If everyone's not, it's like this new generation of, you know, there might be a school race. You know, if you're not finishing for, you know, for second and third, but it's not really good enough. But if you're not finishing first to third, you shouldn't get a medal. Bear man want medals for taking part. Bear people telling people they're special. It's not making no sense to me. He went on to say he was happy. Obviously, he said he has played for Arsenal since 2016. Too many years, man. Won 2 FA Cup trophies, reached the European final, and played over 200 games for this club. Those within football have always spoken about Granit's leadership qualities and his professionalism. I can't doubt that. I can doubt you about a lot of things. I agree with that. I do think you're a leader. I do think you have elite professionalism. I do think you probably told Arteta last Jan, or whenever, at some period last season, I'm leaving, but I'll give you everything. But I just feel you lot are ultimately insecure, man. You lot, anyone that's not blowing up, you lot love all the plaudits. You lot can't take the criticism. That's not how life works. It's ridiculous, people. But yeah, this is where the comments originally come from. He said he wants to achieve more success. Carrying on with what we've already read, he wants to achieve more success with Arsenal and is fully focused on achieving those goals. If I scroll slightly up, people, is there anything we've missed out potentially? And of course, he regrets the move, man. You had your heart set, and it would have been a lovely, fantastic opportunity for you to go to Italy and whatnot, people. And I swear, being from Switzerland, Italy's round the corner. So again, my geography is poor. I remember I'm so shards with my Italian brethren, Biaggi, and he said that. So there's obviously that sort of region and whatnot. And he's probably got to watch a lot of Serie A. So let's just call a spade, man. Let's not talk nonsense and insult fans' intelligence, man. What kind of nonsense are we dealing with? Come on now. He never wanted to leave. Call a spade a spade. Rooney wanted to leave. Rooney wanted to leave United bare times. He had to shut up and play. Ronaldo tried to leave them bare times. Call a spade a spade. Let's be real. Vieira tried to leave Arsenal enough times. A lot of people forget this. Enough times Vieira was flirting with Madrid, with United. Ferguson was on it. Enough times. Let's call a spade a effing spade, people. Let's not lie. Why do we like lying to ourselves? Granit Xhaka's agent owes me nothing, owes you lot nothing, so I can understand it. But come on now. Come on now. It's not making no sense, man. It's not making sense. Like I said, I can't begrudge him for wanting anything. You lot didn't grow up Arsenal fans. It's a job for you lot. But call a spade, man. Don't sit here and insult my intelligence and the people them's intelligence. Come on now. Come on. The club just keep telling certain people you're special and whatnot. And for me, it tells us everything. If a man was going to snake, not even snake it, if a man was going to leave, you've betted on him so much that now he's the captain again and all of these sort of things and all this and all of that. What would we said then? What was going on then? What would we have done if Xhaka did get that Roman move? Which I wanted it because it made a midfielder come in. And I think even with Xhaka, you need a better midfielder there. What would happen then? It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. And I don't get it twisted. I like the mentality that I hear. The same way it annoys me. I kind of like it because you should be focused on improving. You should only really listen to certain comments. You shouldn't let the noise sway you. But it just seemed a bit like our club. Anyone can say anything positive, anything that's not necessarily negative, but is a criticism. Come on now. If you have a son and he scores 2 goals in a football game and he had the chance to score a hat-trick, you're going to chat to him and say, yo, you could have got the hat-trick. What was going on there? But it's like you're not allowed to say these things here. It's only like when Willian leaves, we're allowed to call people problems. And this is the thing. Everyone at Arsenal wants this. Anyone connected with Arsenal just says positive things. All the influencers, they act like media whores because if they say anything, they know they're not getting their free shirts from Arsenal, their occasional season, not even season tickets and, all of this nonsense that they're going with. Ian Wright's the only one that's probably saying things for what they are. And that's because Ian Wright's juice is too strong. He can say Kroenke out and all these things. And it's Ian Wright, bro. You can't do nothing to man, innit? It's Ian Wright. But not everyone has that juice. We love comfort in lies. And I guess ignorance is bliss, man, unfortunately. Until we can be honest and look at where we need to go to, until this club can reflect what it should, until we can have ultimate confidence in some of these players, boy, hey, you're going to see the same things, man. Xhaka 100% gets a lot of unfair criticism at times, man. I can't really quantify what a better captain is because at the same time, I do think Xhaka and Aubameyang, like Tini, they're all leaders. When we was losing, Aubameyang was pulling his socks up. We don't know what Aubameyang does off the field. Aubameyang's there giving you half an hour where he's been battling with fitness. Yeah, Xhaka might shout a lot, but you could say it's not a captain when you're swearing at fans. And I've been over that. I've been over that situation. I think fans are wrong. I'm actually not angry at Xhaka for doing that, really, because fans are telling him to F off. But if I look at it, you're the captain, put ourselves back at that timestamp now, whether the fans are getting onto you and it's justified or not, or you feel it was too much, you are meant to be brothers in arms. That 25-man squad at the time, the 10 other players on the field, they didn't do nothing to you. They've worked on something all week with you, and now you have made it an unnecessary talking point. You know they also face the same criticisms as you. How is that a captain? I'm not saying he isn't a captain. I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't think we have a captain. For me, it's Tierney, but I can't lie. Last 2 games, Tierney ain't been moving like my guy, really. So, boy, it is what it is. But Tierney's still my guy, man. Boy, man. I don't know, man. I don't know how I would have spent the 130 million. I know I would have tried to move heaven and earth to bring in Awa. That's what I know. I would have been getting in South Spurs Kareem Adeyemi. DG, did you see what Willian's dad said about Mikel and Arsenal in an interview in Brazil? I'll tag you. No, I haven't. But what's he said? What's he said? Wow. You type in Willian dad. Willian's dad. Oh man, you're gonna have to tag me. Nothing's coming up on Google. What, you tagging me on Instagram, on Twitter? What we doing? I can't see anything still, bro. So yeah, I'm gonna have to stay ignorant on that because I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't see anything. It's not even a calling out thing. It's not even a calling out thing. It's like, for me, this ain't calling out. This is just being honest. You know, I used to play Sunday League. People's parents would tell me that, and people that are not my mother or my dad, you know, they tell me you play shit. You are playing shit. You are doing nonsense. You know, people that are not involved. You know, but it's the truth. People don't like the truth, and what I don't like about Arsenal is we love all the plaudits. We'll lap it. Apologies, people. We'll lap it up. But when it's the criticisms, I'm not talking about the ridiculous praise and, you know, the things that go beyond constructive criticism. It's almost like you just want to shut up because clearly internally, whatever Arteta is telling you to improve, you're not doing it. Or maybe you're doing the same thing with him. Selective hearing. Mazza, man. And until you lot can be honest with yourselves, which a lot of them are not, boy, it's easier when you have to prove other people wrong. It should motivate you, not make you complacent. That's it as well. But I also would love them to have that healthy statement and say, you know what, people are going to say what they're going to say. Let me apply myself. The adversity this season will push Liverpool into a serious title challenge. It's good for Liverpool, man. Arsenal, I'm just focused on being a football club at this moment, man. I don't know what Ollie and Klopp got to do with this live stream, but one love, man. History shows it's Kroenke who wants Arsenal to fail 100%, man. Give Arteta more time like Ollie and Klopp. Lol. What else you lot saying, man? Yipes, get rid of Willian. Arsenal have sent all members a letter advising them about abusive behavior at games. Don't get me wrong, abuse at games needs to be stopped, but trying to stop us voicing our concerns is wrong. Exactly. It's a dictatorship. What I will say, I can speak for everyone. When you're seeing the scenes with Edu, you're hearing what's happening is, you know, his kids are being abused online. You know, obviously people approaching cars. Most sane people, you know, they don't advocate that, in it. They don't advocate that. But this is where the club have got to protect these individuals. Because it's not nice. It's not nice for anyone. It's not nice for me to see that as well, man. But I know how Willian sleeps at night, bro. You got a fat stack. You know your restaurant's bringing in money. You know you don't give a crap about Arsenal. You still love Chelsea, but Willian sleeps good. William probably sleeps better than his babies. William sleeps good, bro. Probably doesn't even need no Milo and that. You tagged me, bro. Anderson, you're saying you tagged me, bro. Nothing is coming up, broski. Nothing. Like, nothing is coming up. Oh, shit. Fair play. Wow. Okay, let's add a timestamp. Still, let's add a timestamp. Okay. Big up Anderson for coming through. Is that you on the clutch thing? Yeah, appreciate that. But let's make a timestamp. There's not too much of it. Willian's dad speaks. One love to everyone. Make sure you're hitting the like button, folks. Willian's father allegedly said Arteta at the beginning said that he wanted him, that he had a project, but the project wasn't confirmed. When he played well. But since there was a disagreement, the coach knows he doesn't want to stay, so he won't put him on. All right, cool. You don't want to stay. Why man's playing you? You know, your son was shit, bro. Like, come on now. Is this it? Bro, your son was shit, man. Allow it, man. I don't even know back Arteta, but allow it, man. You know, he probably played you too much. He probably played you way too much. And now it's just cut out. What's going on there? I don't know what's happening in that regard. Sorry, folks, my phone just froze. Where has it gone? Sorry, folks. Let's go down. So he went on to say, I think the fact that he's happy, he really isn't. Otherwise, he wouldn't want to leave. He has some proposals from Europe, and it's no secret that he intends to finish his career at Corinthians. This would be priceless. So go to MLS, then play there for a couple of years ago. Corinthians, go there now, and then go for a year on loan in MLS. Go and live your movie somewhere not here. You shouldn't have come in already, and really you should take Edu and Arteta with you. But come on now. His father went on to say, there are things that money doesn't pay for. Playing for Corinthians is priceless. Today, I think they could afford to sign him. Yes, absolutely. So get your son gone then. Money shouldn't be a thing. Forego your sign. I bet you're not gonna forego your signing on fee and all of those sort of things. You know, Willian Senior. I don't know. And he's also said Corinthians has always wanted him back, but haven't made an offer. This was yesterday, so things have developed. It's hard, but not impossible. If it happens, it depends on the club. Well, I want you gone. Arsenal want you gone. Hopefully, we all want you gone. But whether you go is another thing. You know, we hear TORREIRA is very close to Florentino. Willian's close to doing this. Kolasinac that. Boss out. Boss out, man. Just leave, please. Help us. Like, help us to help you. You haven't wanted to move. You shouldn't have come here in the first place. Arteta needs to hold his L, as does Edu. But boy, should have never been here. Safe, man. What else could I say there? What else? It's ridiculous, man. So yeah, man. Apart from that, it's just the same old with all them things there. Boy, it's a bit of a myth. You know, on that, we might as well review Edu signings really quickly, folks, man, as well, you know. Edu's Arsenal signings so far. I'll tell a white lies because I got an article up there and I haven't read it out to you lot yet. So we're kind of killing two birds with one stone, and we'll call that / Arsenal fitness because we haven't looked at the fitness. But I saw an article on the Daily Mail, folks. Make sure we're all hitting the like button as well. In relation to just looking at Edu. And like I said, this was as much as it's an important summer for Edu, for Arteta, it's for Edu as well. We all know for every Kieran Tierney, for every Lokonga, for every Gabriel, there's a bag of nonsense that we've done, people. We spent 130 million this summer. I don't think in long-term reasons the signings are bad, but you know, the whole premise of signing someone should be to improve the team and immediately. Who really improves the team immediately? On the basis of Ben White should be, I'd say Ben White and Odegaard should be playing immediately. The rest were giving them scope to grow. Lokonga's done well. Tavares has had little patches. I'm not saying they're bad players. Long term, they can be well, but nobody is making us stronger to compete for, probably even Conference League at this moment in time. Scrolling all the way down, people, we all know the new signings that have been brought in. Shout out Eddie Fraud. And pardon me, the figure in Arsenal responsible for the summer spending spree is Brazilian sporting director Edu Gaspar. We all know what he's done in terms of his playing career, people. While he has shared some transfer duties in recent years with former head of football relations Raul Sanye, the Brazilian transfer chief has been criticized recently for his lack of success. Let's go and see what he's done, people. You know, he brought in Martinelli. I'm not going to give you, Martinelli was identified by scouts and it was done. You know, a lot of people were pointing to you never bust him, but fair play. You know, you was there when he came. He has been a hit, even though there's a lot more. Pepe, it didn't bang. You know, wasn't that Raul Sanye the driving force behind that? We heard people wanted Zaha. I wouldn't say it's been a hit. I wouldn't say it's been a miss. It's still the jury. Well, I didn't even know. Jury's still out. Yeah, fair play. You know, for me, Saliba can be a hit. You brought a man in under false pretenses. Fair play. That wasn't his guy. I swear it wasn't his guy. Was that not Raul Sanye? So I'm not going to put that one on Edu, to be fair with you. Tierney, I don't think that was EDU'S. It might have been, but I can't even remember. I'll give you the hit. I wouldn't say Louise was a hit, but it weren't a miss. I wouldn't say it's quite a miss. It's the step just before a miss, and I wouldn't quite say it's a hit. Bro, undoubtedly, Danny Ceballos is a miss. You know, only Arsenal would see him stink up the place and then give him a next year on loan. Pablo Marie, duddery. There's no jury out. Jury's out. You're being convicted. You're guilty. You're gone. Cedric Suarez, you've barely played. Miss. Partey, jury's still out. If we're honest with ourselves, the ability is not in question, but something is going wrong. The jury's still firmly out. Gabriel, for me, has been a hit. Snaked by Arteta when the going got tough. Not really a defensive system. Really scared for you and Ben White if things continue, because how are you meant to improve? Therefore, think you've been a hit. Runnison, banter. Should be they should only be a steward. The word's not even missing. I don't really want to get at it, man. If there was somehow someone that's failed even more than Runnison, it's got to be Willian, just because at least he only cost 2 million. At least we expected Runnison to be crap. We knew you was going to be crap, Willian, and somehow you've been even more of a dud. Failure, undoubtedly. It's been a hit for you, undoubtedly a failure. And I mean, this is your legacy. Matt Ryan, you was calm. I'd say you was a hit, but the sample size isn't big. I think that's harsh to say miss, because he stepped, you know, he didn't play too much. He was confident in literally the 1 or 2 appearances he played in. You know, he actually he set up a goal for us to come from behind against Fulham. So I don't know what this article guy's talking about. Odegaard, the jury is still out. I wouldn't say quite a hit. I wouldn't say it's been a miss. I think the jury's still out. I think he's a positive player, but I don't know if a hit. In relation to Arteta, apparently, you know, Arteta might be getting this article, I don't know what it is, but apparently 0.0 goals. This wasn't the start of the season Mikel Arteta had envisioned. This is why pre-season had to be spot on. We know I think this is looking for excuses as to why he still got a job. Everybody's had COVID problems. Everybody's had things cancelled. Everyone's had to deal with it. So I'm not using that as an excuse. There's been uncertainty over the squad, but that's where you and Edu needed to do a bit better. You know, you're a week away from the transfer window shutting. You're 2 games into it, and there's still a lot of question marks over the team. There should be significant parts of the business. I'm not asking for everyone to be brought in and everyone to be sold, but that's on you lot. There's a lack of leadership where the players have to arrest that, but you have put your faith in certain players. You can't say there's a lack of mentality when you was praising them. There's never going to be a siege mentality at this club because we don't believe in ourselves. The supporters support the club. Don't say the supporters back on side. We support the club. We support the fans. As long as Arteta and these players, whether we rate them or not, they'll always have a degree of support. We'll always want them to do well. We'll always rally behind them. Support doesn't mean condoning nonsense. It doesn't mean you can't have an opinion that isn't necessarily positive as long as it's done in the right way. Give the fans something to get behind, because we're paying too much money. We're investing too much emotionally into this thing to actually care about none of this. Fuck you lot's feelings. Pardon my language. Get back to looking like a damn football team. Simple as that. It's too nice. Do the basics. We don't do the basics well. The basics. There's Sunday league teams that put up more fight, that look more like a unit. Several things. I don't like swearing, but I just think man are taking a piss. Like the whole club. That's it. That's all it is. Just taking the mickeys, and it's not nice. It's not right. So it's a problem. In relation to team news, you know, a bit of a positive. Lacazette, Odegaard, and Ben White. You know, in relation to playing against West Brom tomorrow, you know I'll be doing a watch along for that. Make sure you're subscribed on Twitch as well. I'll be live again at 2 p.m. and then we'll be playing Football Manager at 4 p.m, folks. But Bellerin, right thigh, was unavailable for Sunday's game. He's back in training and being assessed ahead of Wednesday. Alexander Lacazette is back in training. Good on him after obviously fighting with COVID. Gabriel is back in training as well after suffering a knee injury, training with the Brazilian Olympics team. Martinelli, thank God, is back in training after suffering with cramps. And he seems to always get this cramp business. So I know there's nothing you can really do, but is there a way we can look to mitigate against that? Eddie Nketiah might not be in the club come early September, but he's making progress and aiming to be back in early September. Odegaard wasn't missing because of injuries. He's clearly got his visa and he's been given full clearance to play. So now against Manchester City and West Brom, he can commence his career as a permanent Arsenal player. We all know Partey unfortunately got injured. He's working hard with the medical team and he's aiming to return back into training by the end of August. So that's within these next 2 weeks, really and truly. Runnison you know, you never want to see anyone suffering with health. He's back. You know, Tierney's back as well. So Tierney, Martinelli was getting quite scared. Sadly for Ben White, though, you know, obviously he's still got his health. He's still alive, and think COVID has claimed a lot of, has hurt a lot of people. We all know he missed the Chelsea match. He won't be available for Wednesday's game. You know, his health and his fitness will be monitored ahead of the weekend, people, which in City, and you've got to argue even that he's only probably going to be fit enough for the bench. Willian tested positive for COVID, and he might not even be part of the team. He's being monitored ahead of Wednesday's game. So it seems quite positive in that, people. Let's make sure we're hitting the like buttons as well. So it is what it is in that regards, folks. That it firmly is what it is. Boy, what else are you lot saying? Sorry for airing you lot, man. Hey DG, just on my lunch break and couldn't miss some DG live. Is there any positive news to report, broski? I think you just saw it, bro. The fitness with certain players. Apart from that, myth, absolute myth. I still think another manager could get more out of these players. I think so too, to a degree. My coach at Ascot United would at least be able to change the formation mid-match. Oof. Partey is made out of glass all of a sudden. Does Conte want to come though? Someone's got to ask him, man. Man said, due to environmental issues, should Arsenal switch from plastic fans to something less toxic? I mean, stop being a plastic club then. That was funny still. 0 goals isn't the worst part. It's the chances created. Actually, no good ones versus Chelsea. You know, you could remove the versus Chelsea and that could be forever, man. It's either you're for or against me. This is the type of philosophy Edu must have. This is your club. Start going for players that love to come to the club. See, Locatelli is an example. I mean, he didn't want to come. It's a madness. When we play Brom tomorrow, 120 million is no money in the transfer window. You're right. But at the same time, you know, you've got a thingy. You know, you've got to get more bang for your buck, man. Respectfully, isn't there more pressing issues than talking about comments from a reject player's dad? I mean, we've been speaking quite a lot, Zico. When you can provide such, you know, throw them in here. And then obviously, you know, if not, you come off the live stream. It's a bit of a madness. Must admit, I've backed my kids even when I know it's wrong, tough gig. Yeah, you can back them to the public, but I'm pretty sure at some point you told them internally what's going on. Boy. Your dad has to back you, but sometimes just stop chatting shit, man. Hey, come on, man. You know, you weren't levels. If you was doing your job, I think Arteta played you too much, man. DG, do you think our players are confused by Arteta's tactics? Yeah, and I think the players just aren't to scratch. Really. Stop spamming, bro. Please. It's not going to get things read out. You're just going to antagonize the fans. Thoughts on Adama to Spurs? Save that for Twitch, my guy. Fraudulent. You save that for Twitch just because we need some Twitch content. I'll see you at 2 p.m., man. Your thoughts without getting new signings where we would be this season? Well, I don't know for that, but it really does it look like we've made any signings? I know we've spent a lot of money. It's more of the same or worse down the table, unless I can see something that means we're going to change. You know, when I see the mentality change, then I might be a bit more bullish about things, but it's a myth. We're at 298 likes, people. Can we get that to 300? There's close to 700 of you locked in, and none of you are trying to hit that like button, you lazy toshes. Maybe we, the fans, don't realize how much is the miss in this club. Not sure what you're saying there, but fair play. Arsenal are building a squad for the future and thinking Arteta has been sprinkled with Pep Guardiola dust to rub off on us. Boy. Boy. The mentality of the team is just unbelievably weak and toxic. I'm praying that the manager, whether that be Arteta long term or a new manager, can fix this. Amen, bro. Amen. How much time he's had a season and a half? Scott, I don't think the time thing is an excuse anymore. I don't think there is no time. I think it's time to show a couple things, man. Man said, I'm tired, Robbie. RIP George. RIP Claude, man. The Amazon documentary, sadly, is going to be amazing. Stop spamming, broski. That's your first and last comment on my platform. You know, we don't like spamming. It's dead. You're robbing it of other people. You know, we have a good platform here. Let's keep it sensible. Recap on Trippier. Scroll back, or I can give you a timestamp. Such a nice guy. Give you a timestamp. This is why I do them. There you have it, broski. I really like Mikel as a person. He's charismatic, well-spoken, and obviously very intelligent. But what he wants to do doesn't translate on the pitch. So it's time to go, sadly. I think the same, man. Sadly. And, you know, hopefully something can change, but is what it is. It's an issue in that regards, man. As a United fan, I'm taking Conte. Boy, fair play. I don't know for any of that, though, personally. So I'm not sure on any of that. A man said I want troops as our manager. Hey, man, he might pass the loud out, so why not? If I could be assistant, why not, man? Come on, pattern up with all of that, man. I think Arteta is a top 2 manager in the world. I would take him at Chelsea. Big up, DG. Of course you would say that, man. Fair play, though. DG, what did you make of West Ham's approach to Leicester yesterday and Antonio's performance? Save that for Twitch because it's a neutral comment. It's a neutral content sort of thing. So save that. Apologies, but we've got it, man. My choice for manager, Conte, Ten Hag, Pereira, Gasperini, plays good football. Why not? Arteta gives me a politician vibe. Dude speaks, but nothing is done to improve. Boy, you lot are harsh, man. What if Mikel wins the next 5? You with him, DG? Bro, I'm not with or against him. There's no I'm Team Arteta out or I'm Team Arteta in right now. You know, there was a time you was looking like you were the guy for this. So you was the guy that I was backing. Now you're looking shaky. How can I believe in you when I don't look, the players don't look like they believe in you? You don't believe in them players when it looks like the players don't believe in themselves and you don't believe in yourself. You know, I'm only loyal to Arsenal. I'm not loyal to no ideology. So I can say, I told you when times were tough, Arteta was the guy, or I told you from the start it wasn't that. You know, too many people are loyal to their own agendas and ideologies. But I want Arsenal Football Club to just simply be mentioned. When we're mentioned with serious things again. We're not mentioned with the self-capitulations, the banter, and all of these things. I get nothing. I get that nothing from that, man. You know, I just want my club to be serious. And right now, like, I listen, there's no excuse to keep Arteta. So if he got sacked tomorrow and something was happening, all right, we're moving. Do I think it's the time to sack him? I think yes, but I think no at the same time. I think I only really gave up on Emre at the real end, as you lot know, that same week. So there's a bit more. And it could probably happen in this week. Like I said, it's time for me. It's time probably to start calling some agents. Oh, what's Conte doing? What's this guy doing? It's probably that sort of time. But, you know, if he wins the next 5 games, obviously such is life. You're a messiah. The pressure is relieved and you might be able to do something. So if he can do that and he, you know, and we can look back at the start of the season and say, oh, it was teething and pains. We've gone off and done things. Why not? That's what most fans want. I want to sit here and say, boy, we gave Arteta a tough time. Maybe we should have trusted the process, you know? And I hope that can still be the case. But what I can't do is sit here and say, trust the process when I'm seeing shaky things. You know, like I said, if I'm building a house and I've got a project manager and he's saying, trust my process, I know that in a week, the house isn't going to be there. But if I walk past the building site and I don't see any scaffolding, I don't see any laborers, I don't see any site managers, I'm saying, what's going on here? What process? We ain't even started. Obviously, if I see materials being built, things starting to go up, plumbers, electricians, laborers, I'm starting to think, cool, Rome weren't built in a day. We're not going to be built in a day, but there's some movement and there's some fundamental progress being made in that regard. So that's what I would say fundamentally, really and truly. So yeah, man. And on that note, I'm going to get out of here, people. As I said, I'm going to be live at 2 p.m. I'm going to go get some lunch and I'll be with you lot on Twitch and them things there. We're going to speak about neutral topics. So let me actually write down, you know, one of you lot said West Ham's top West Ham's tactics. Somebody asked on something with Spurs. I can't remember, but yeah, save all of that in it and I'll be back in it. But it's been appreciative being with you lot. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, man. You know, it means a lot. Why do we consistently roam in here without hitting the like button? G1, because certain people just lazy, man. You look doing the guy dirty, man. But yeah, fair enough, man. I'm gonna get out of here now, man. I'm quite hungry. I can't cap.
There's always just that active red flag defending.
I think it's like.